The megaphone blares through the sea fog. You have exactly 2 minutes to lower your flag and step away from the railing. Behind you, your population, which consists entirely of your brother-in-law and a local mechanic, are holding hunting rifles. In front of you is a multi-million-dollar military vessel. Your custom-printed currency is sitting in plastic tubs. Your handmade passports are stacked on a folding table. You thought you were building a utopia. The United Nations thinks you're running an illegal border evasion scam. We'll look at the pirate radio king who fought the Royal Navy, the farmer who went bankrupt playing Prince, and the exact legal loophole you'd need to exploit to actually make it work.
We're done!
The countdown hits 0. Let's see how long your empire lasts against a Navy destroyer, a foreclosure notice, and the IRS. It starts because you're angry. The county just raised property taxes again. The HOA sent you a warning because your lawn is 2 inches too high. You look at the property deed, and a wild idea takes root. I bought this dirt. It belongs to me. Why should I follow their rules? You print a Declaration of Independence on your office inkjet printer. You name your house the Republic of your name, Stan. You print currency out of monopoly paper and notify the utility company that foreign nations do not pay municipal water rates. You think you've found a clever legal loophole. You haven't. Within 30 days, you don't receive an ambassador. You receive a foreclosure notice. Under international law, you fell into the trap of fee simple ownership. When you buy real estate, you aren't buying sovereignty. You are buying a restricted title of land use under the supreme authority of the host state. Your land is still their territory. The local police don't need permission from the UN to enter your yard. They will deploy a taser, break your front door, and your entire empire will dissolve over a $500 warrant. Think about the case of the Republic of Minerva. In 1972, a millionaire named Michael Oliver didn't just plant a flag. He dumped tons of sand onto a coral reef in the Pacific to create an island. He issued his own gold coins and declared a tax-free paradise. But he forgot one thing: neighbors. The King of Tonga didn't send a letter. He led a physical expedition, took down the Minerva flag, and annexed the reef while Oliver watched from a boat. The legal lesson? If you don't have a military to defend your dirt, your sovereignty lasts exactly as long as it takes for a neighbor to get curious. Okay, so you can't secede from inside a country. What if you go where no country claims the ground? In 1967, Paddy Roy Bates, a former British Army major, climbed a rope ladder onto Fort Ruffs. It was a massive, abandoned concrete platform 7 miles off the coast of England. At the time, international law said a nation's power stopped at 3 miles out. Anything beyond that was the high seas. By occupying a fort 7 miles out, Bates found a physical hole in the map. He declared it the Principality of Sealand. But the world doesn't like holes. The Royal Navy sent a ship to investigate. Bates's son, Michael, fired warning shots into the water. When the family was dragged into a British court, the judge dropped a bombshell. He ruled that because the fort sat in international waters, the court had no jurisdiction. To the Bates family, this felt like recognition. It wasn't. It was simply a lack of authority to prosecute. Sealand had achieved de facto sovereignty. They were, in fact, in control. But they lacked de jure, recognition by law from other states. But it's not just about defense. It's about the black market. Because unrecognized countries have no extradition treaties, they become magnets for the world's most dangerous people. In the late 90s, Sealand unknowingly became a hub for a massive international money laundering ring, using Sealandic passports that Roy Bates hadn't even authorized. Your dream of freedom quickly becomes a haven for people who would kill you for your platform. When you're off the grid, the law doesn't protect you, but the criminals can still find you. Without de jure recognition, your country is a legal ghost. When armed German businessmen launched a helicopter coup to steal Sealand, the police wouldn't come. The Bates family had to launch a private counterattack to take their country back. If someone robs your house, you call the police. If someone robs your unrecognized country, you have to fight a war. To move from a platform to a real country, you must pass the Montevideo Convention of 1933. It requires 4 pillars. 1. A permanent population. You need citizens, real ones, not Discord followers. When an Australian farmer named Leonard Casley seceded in 1970, his population was just his family. Decades later, when the tax office sued him for $3 million, his tiny country couldn't build an army to resist. He had to sell the land just to pay the bill. 2. A defined territory. Every square inch of dry earth is already claimed. If you take an existing piece of land, you aren't starting a country. You're starting an invasion. 3. A government. You need courts. If 2 citizens get into a car accident on your land, who settles the bill? If you don't have a judge, you aren't a country. You're a campsite. 4. The capacity for relations. This is the ultimate trap. You are only a country if other countries say you are. Imagine standing at a check-in counter at JFK. You hand over your Kevin Stan passport. The agent looks at it, then at you, and calls security. Because your country isn't in the ICAO database, your passport is legally considered novelty stationery. You aren't a diplomat. You're a person with a fake ID in a post-9/11 world. You can't get a bank account, and you can't even board a Greyhound bus. You are a prisoner of your own independence. If the U.S. won't recognize your passport, your citizens can never leave. If banks won't process your currency, you can't import food. Sovereignty isn't a title you claim. It's a privilege granted by your neighbors. Let's look at the trillionaire option, seasteading. Building massive, high-tech artificial islands in international waters. You spend $2 billion constructing a floating metropolis past the 200-mile line. But here is the legal nightmare. The UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Under maritime law, an artificial structure is not legally an island. It has no territorial sea. It is legally classified as a vessel. And every vessel must be registered to an existing country. If you register in Panama to be legal, you must obey Panama's laws. If you refuse to register, you are a stateless vessel. A stateless vessel has 0 legal protection. Any Navy or pirate crew can board you, search you, and seize your assets without violating a single law. By trying to escape the system, you have stripped away the only laws that protect you. What actually happens if you try to start your own country? The short-term result is a viral news story. The long-term result is a cold confrontation with reality. The global map is a closed system. The existing 193 nations operate like a monopoly. They own the airspace, the banks, and the weapons. New nations are only born through decades of war and the strategic blessing of superpowers. Starting a country is a legal nightmare because the system was engineered by the people who own the world to ensure that no one else ever will. If you want absolute control, buy a house and lock the door. Because out here in the real world, the ink on the map is dry, and the rulers don't share the pen.